Hey everybody, Bob Babbitt here, Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon Edition. We're presented and hosted by Hyland's, Stop Your Cramp, Not Your Race, by Polar, check out the Polar Advantage M and the Marathon Edition, and by UCAN, Perform, Workout, and Energize. Our next two guests, Chris Wilhelm and Jim Gregory. How you both doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
We are wonderful, and you guys are both part of the Team Healers. You've been on active duty for 22 years. And you are a Air Force pediatrician. So traveling the world, you just got back from Peru?
Yes, I got back from Peru about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did a medical mission down there.
And what were you guys doing?
We were just going from village to village, taking care of as many people as we could.
And that's what you've been doing for 22 years?
That's what I've been doing.
And you love it?
Every minute of it.
So when you do travel to other parts of the world, when you come back, does it sort of reaffirm how great our medical system is?
Yes, and how good just even simple things like our running water.
Yes.
And the fact that we have that.
Yes.
And I appreciate all of it, all of that I have here. And I am so thankful for the help I can provide those people.
So Jim, social worker, Germantown, Pennsylvania. You work with abused and neglected children, which is close to my heart as well. Talk a little bit about what got you into that.
Absolutely. I actually I'm a product of the foster care system.
Is that right?
I was born and was in foster care for the first 3 years of my life. And it gave me so much from the very start. And I just wanted to get back to that system that gave me so much from the very beginning.
What's fascinating, I remember working in a residential treatment center. And the deal was they would put children in the foster care because it was cheaper. And then when it got to the point where they'd run out, they'd do 4 or 5 experiences that didn't work.
Right.
Then they put them in residential treatment center when the kid had already had 5, 6 negative experiences.
Absolutely.
For you, was it you went into foster care and with one family, and did that work?
Yeah, one family. I was with them the full 3 years.
Wow.
Of course, this was, obviously back in the 70s. So,
right.
You languished in foster care back in the 70s, and it wasn't quite as big of a system as it is right now as well.
Right. But growing up in that, when did you realize that you wanted to be part of that from the other side and help out?
Absolutely. I think probably when I hit my teens is when I really realized it. I grew up with my grandparents and my mother on a small rural farm, and they taught me the values that I was learning when I was in foster care as a young child, as that small infant. I learned all of those things, and I really wanted to get back to that system.
And when it comes to running, I'm guessing that you use running with kids as well, because it is like the best way for kids to understand dedication and performance and making the most out of themselves without a lot of expensive gear.
Yeah.
Has that been helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also good for goal setting. Setting the goal.
That's a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. The goal setting and setting the bar really high and then working towards and achieving that goal.
Yeah. And Chris, talk a little bit about Iraq, Afghanistan. Those are tough places to be. What did you learn from those experiences?
Well, I was deployed there. I deployed with the Air Force as the pediatrician, the in-country pediatrician. So some of the children that got injured because of war, they would all come to me.
Right.
And I'd have to take care of them and get them back out there. But the other thing that I'm also is a military physician first, so that when our wounded heroes came in,
right.
that was my priority, is take care of them and get them back. And that is there is nothing like that. That is the highlight of my career. Every Marine, soldier, airman, and sailor that I was able to take care of and had the honor to take care of and get them home.
What's interesting is I remember we have a program called Operation Rebound. It's Challenge Athletes Foundation. And what I learned is, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan, because of the armor that people are wearing nowadays, back in the day, a lot of these people would not have made it.
Correct.
People are coming back but missing multiple limbs, in wheelchairs, and more traumatized than ever before. Mm-hmm. That dealing with that, and I mean, the positive is people are living. The negative is they're more compromised than they've ever been.
Right, but I would say, yes, the armor has protected them and we're keeping them alive, but also they're just an amazing, the trauma surgeons, the nurses, the medical technicians. We have also improved what we can do in the air, transporting them. And then more importantly, things like we take care of them, but the healing is not done. When they leave the hospital, the healing continues, and organizations like yours,
Right.
to get them back out there, tell them it's not done, you're still valuable, press forward, and go do the Ironman in Kona.
It's fascinating because one of the things that I've learned from our guys, you're 22, 23 years old, your social group, your brothers and sisters are still there. Again, similar to what we were talking about with someone who's been abused, you're sort of jettisoned. You come back to the States, you're not part of that social group anymore. Your body is different, right? And you were indestructible before, now you feel flawed. And I know from your perspective, you're dealing with them on site at the time. Has there been follow through to see how people are getting along after they come home?
We don't do a really good job of that, the follow through, because while you're down range, you're just taking care of the next patient who's in front of you.
So that goes to us.
Yes.
That's the job of the groups here in the States, to make sure that our wounded heroes are coming back and getting the other support they need. And as a guy who's an athlete yourself, how important do you think sport is to get these guys back in the game of life?
I think, well, you might call it sport. I would call it therapy.
Yeah.
So you said they were indestructible.
In their mind, yeah.
Right. What you guys do is you teach them that, okay, you're missing a leg, so what? You're still indestructible.
Yeah.
Get out there, go swim, get on the bike, get on the wheelchair, whatever it is, get out there, you're indestructible. And I think that by giving them that's not sport, that's therapy. So,
Jim, when you're working with kids, and you're working with kids who are, we just chatted about that. Sometimes there's a big hole in the ground, and this kid, you're giving as much love and possible as you can, but that hole isn't getting filled up. How difficult is that to stay the course, because you know that you can turn that child around?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really it takes a lot of steps, right? Because when they come in, a lot of times they're closed up. They don't want to talk. They're not very trustworthy. I mean, let's just think about this. You're taking them away from their parents, so they don't trust you and they don't understand that. So a lot of it starts out with a lot of trust building, and once you do that, I think that you can really work on their safety, their permanency, and their well-being. All of that can all be clumped together, and you can work really, really well on those things with them.
And Chris, when you're traveling like you are, and we're just talking trust, you've got little kids from different countries, and a lot of times we're at war in that country. How do you gain their trust? How do you get these kids to understand that you're there to help them?
I think when anybody is injured, they're very vulnerable. And it doesn't matter what nationality they are. When they come, they know that we're going to take care of them. And people would show up at the gate of the base asking for help, and we would bring them in and we would take care of them. Not only those who were injured from wars, but things in Iraq. I saw a lot of children that were burned.
Right.
Because they don't have central heating, obviously, and they're a poverty-stricken nation. So they would just have fires in the middle of the house to keep them warm.
Yeah.
And, the toddler might trip into it or something like that. And they would bring them to us to take care of them.
You started running after coming back from Afghanistan in 2013?
Yes.
Yeah. What was it that got you into running? Was it therapeutic to begin with?
It was, and it continues today.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jim can attest to this too. You sit there and you take care of children who are ever bad home. Sometimes you need to go get out there, put your shoes on, and
clear
just
your head.
start. Clear your head, pound that asphalt, get out there and go.
What is it about running? So obviously you started as therapy, and now you're here running the Boston Marathon. That journey from using this as therapy to becoming serious at it, how long did that take?
Well, I still don't believe I'm here in Boston. I can't believe this.
It is a little bit of a dream, huh? Because this is the Mecca.
Yes, and this actually was never a dream of mine, because this was unattainable for me.
Right.
And like I tell people, I'm not competing in the Boston Marathon, I'm participating.
It's called a catered workout, right?
Yes.
It's a catered workout.
Yeah.
They hand you little gels and gummies every once in a while. You have a drink. It doesn't matter. The T-shirt you get at the end, it's the same color as the guy wins.
Right.
Right. The medal they put around your neck, same thing. So it is just such a journey
Right.
on the most iconic run course on the planet.
Right. The main difference would be the hours of difference between the person who wins and my finish.
But the deal is, think about the value proposition.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
If you're out there 6 hours or 5 hours or 4 hours and they're out 2 hours, you win. Your entry
Right.
fee, you got more for your dollar.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Exactly. So I've never understood why go fast.
There you
I want
go.
to get my money's worth. I want to be out there a while. I'm going to hang out and do the buffet, right?
Right.
Do the whole thing.
Right.
What are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
Just enjoying the whole thing. When I started training, I had a time set in mind. I want to finish by this time. And then I hear how big this is. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just going to start. I'm going to run, enjoy every minute of it, and then finish.
So, like you said, you never thought you'd get here. Getting accepted as part of Team Hyland's, being part of the Healer team, how's this experience been so far?
Amazing. You know, what I've done is no different than what anybody else has done. We just take care of people, and people pay us to help people.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
how good is that?
That's pretty cool.
And then Team Hyland's, they just wanted to say thank you, and that is amazing. That is amazing. What this company has done made me feel like family.
Right.
Right away, yeah.
Right. So
And-
it's
and
just
people you've never met before, but by the time you get here, it's like you've known them your whole life.
correct.
That's exactly
Right.
right.
Right. And this is not the end. I'm sure it's just the beginning.
No. That there's the fact that there's, I think, 60-some people here who are part of the legacy means that once people become part of Highlands, they're Highlands for life.
Right. And for crying out loud, I'm sitting here with Bob Babbitt.
So that's probably the weakest part of your trip
oh
so
my
far.
gosh.
No,
I mean,
no.
seriously.
Listen
Oh
to
my
you.
gosh.
Listen to you. For Jim, for you, you've been running for 40 years. You've done 5 marathons, all sorts of half marathons. At first Boston?
I was here last year. Didn't make it all the way to the end. So
Me either.
And I'm back for redemption.
Yeah. So last year, how far? Because you're a skinny guy.
Yeah.
When did you start freezing your butt off?
Yeah, so probably from the very beginning.
Yes.
But I made it to mile 13.
That's
and
about where I did.
Yeah.
There was a nice medical tent to the
Yeah,
right.
there was.
Yeah.
Was. 3
I was
hours there.
hypothermic.
Yeah.
And you're hypothermic when everything's in slow motion.
Yeah.
And I'm running along, and some woman goes by and goes, "Are you okay?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Obviously not." Where's the medical tent? And there's a heater.
Yeah.
Chicken soup, heater.
Yep.
That was pretty sweet.
That was pretty sweet.
But you don't need that this year.
Don't need that this year.
I think it's going to be 60, and they're talking about a tailwind, and if there's drizzle, you know what that means. Cloud cover.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about overheating.
No, not overheating.
So it's important for you to get to the finish line this year.
It is. No matter if I have to crawl there, I'll get there.
And the best part about the finish line, you're only a block away from the University Club, where they have the best spread in the world.
That's right.
They got burgers. They got all sorts of really cool stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So are the kids aware that you work with of what you're doing here?
Yeah, my coworkers, my teammates, and the kids, they all know that I'm here, and everybody's been supporting from afar. So it's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
It's so cool.
Well, you guys are doing God's work. You're really doing amazing stuff. And I know you look at it as just a job, it's just what I do, but you know that you love it, and and you're making a huge difference with all these kids.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
when you're in Iraq and Afghanistan, getting our guys off that battlefield and getting them back here so that we can help them.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and please, and thank you. Thank you.
Oh, listen, it's the best thing ever. I love watching what we call the power of sport and how how you can transform lives just by a piece of equipment, training, travel. It's wonderful. And coming here and what's going to happen tomorrow, being out there in Boston with 35,000 of your closest friends, there's nothing better. And have you done like a big city marathon?
No.
Get ready.
So here's one hint. Because I'm guessing you're a somewhat competitive guy. That first 6 miles, don't run with anybody.
Okay.
Okay? Because people are going to go by you like you're standing still in the first 6 miles, and you will see all of them. When
Okay.
you get to the Newton Hills, you'll see all of them.
The Newton Hill.
Yeah.
This course has hills. I've
No,
been
it's-
training in Kansas.
It's flat and fast.
Okay.
It's
okay.
flat and fast, and you'll be fine.
All right.
Tailwind, flat and fast.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll just take off and go.
Love it. Thanks, you guys, for taking
Thank
time
you.
to join us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Again, Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon Edition. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.